Kibwe Johnson, and my job here with track and field is to coach the throwing events.
So tell us how you came to IMG and how you got that coaching opportunity.
My agent is a good friend with Lauren Seagrave, and I kind of figured out. So let me rewind a bit. I was in the 2012 Olympics. You know, a lot of things changed in my life. We had our daughter Brooklyn was born that year. Spent a lot of time and energy preparing for the Olympics and with the goal of medaling. Close, but no cigar on the medal front. But since things changed with my daughter, I had to figure out what it was I actually wanted to do with my life besides spinning in circles. And I realized that I do want to coach, but I didn't particularly want to coach in an NCAA format. I would, but my real goals, I had a little checklist, and of those things, it seemed to be more private or international opportunities. And that's when I searched out where I could do what it is that I knew I wanted to do, and this was one of the places, and the rest is kind of history.
How would you describe your coaching philosophy, and has it evolved a little bit as you've done this more and spent more time writing?
I think it's interesting, and I think my philosophy, I think, is interesting because I have been in the North American kind of traditional system of training and lifting, and then my coach now and since 2008 is European, and a lot of what he does, he kind of pioneered or innovated himself. So my philosophy is kind of taking the best of both worlds, and I think my expertise on both sides is pretty valuable.
Now, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Describe the perfect movements that lead to the most efficient hammer throw. You're talking about the tension, and if you could explain that to a layperson, how would you break that down?
That is kind of hard to define, but I mean, yeah, it's not fast from the start. That's absolutely true. You kind of have to work into the best movement, and then as the throw builds, if it's 4 turns, gradually the ball speed will get faster, and then you release it. So yeah, it does feel effortless when it's done well, and it's an easy throw. It's easy on the body. The idea is to let the hammer do all the work, so you stay in the middle. It's kind of a sun-moon relationship sort of thing, or sun and earth. But it's an interesting force to play with on a daily basis.
Can you describe the stress and intensity of making the Olympics, particularly the importance of the trials, which I imagine for many people is almost more stressful than the Olympics themselves?
But it's a very stressful event. So I'll use my experience. 2008, I was number 1 in the U.S., or I had the top mark and several other really, really good marks. I was expecting to go to the Olympics in 2008. It didn't happen. Things happen, and so I made the decision with my wife to move to Canada with Dr. Anatoly Bondarchuk, and he's basically the greatest throws coach of all time. And so that was 2008, and every single second from that point through 2012 was geared towards not just making a team, but medaling. And so when it was conclusive and I made the team in 2012 at Olympic trials, all I could think was to go do grass angels in the field. It was just such a relief. And I wouldn't do it again, though. I was really itchy. But